The 300 Knockout is one of Battlefield Hardline's most unique sniper rifles, and one of the most difficult to unlock. Featuring an integral suppressor and slow-moving bullets, this gun rewards close, stealthy gameplay. With the ability to down enemies with a single shot to the head or chest in close quarters, the 300 Knockout delivers a powerful round, but there's a risk-reward trade-off. One shot may be all you'll get, so you need to make it count. In this video, we'll be talking about the real-world guns and accessories that inspired Hardline's 300 Knockout. Shooters and gun aficionados in the crowd may notice that 300 Knockout is an obvious play on words for the real-world caliber 300 Blackout. This caliber is also sometimes called 300 Whisper. By metric designation, it can be referred to as the 7.62 by 35mm. The 300 Blackout has a parent case of 223 Remington or 5.56 by 45mm NATO, so most of the cartridge dimensions start out the same. However, the case neck is flared open from 22 caliber to 30 caliber to accept longer, heavier bullets. One of the unique things about 300 Blackout as a cartridge is the ability to run both supersonic and subsonic ammunition. For those unfamiliar, I'll explain. Bullets that pass the speed of sound are referred to as supersonic bullets. When these bullets move through the air at a speed exceeding the speed of sound, they create a sonic crack that can be heard. A gun silencer can remove most of the combustion noise from a cartridge, but it cannot reduce the supersonic crack that a bullet at this velocity produces. However, subsonic cartridges travel below the speed of sound and produce no such sonic crack. Therefore, guns of this type can be truly silenced compared to supersonic cartridges. I normally have an issue with video games nerfing silenced rifles, especially sniper rifles, for gameplay balance by making the bullets slower, drop more, and do less damage. However, in the case of the 300 Knockout, this is actually, if not exaggerated, fairly accurate to how a subsonic cartridge performs. I'm going to play a video of myself shooting a rifle very similar to the configuration of the 300 Knockout. Now, while it's not the exact gun, it is a bolt gun with a barrel of about the same length, using a suppressor and subsonic ammunition. I have to apologize in advance for the audio quality, so you may not be able to hear what I'm talking about without good headphones. However, after my first couple of shots, I switched from 100 yards to 270 yards, and if you listen closely, you can hear the delay between the time the round goes off and the bullet actually striking the target. At this distance also, I was having to aim several head distances above the steel target to strike it in the chest, as the bullet drops significantly at this range. All of this is represented somewhat in Battlefield. So this is a short barrel 300 Blackout shooting subsonics. This is accurate ordnance action with roughly a 12-inch barrel, shooting the rugged suppressor's Razor 7.62. So first I'm going to take a couple shots at 100, and then we're going to see what it does a little further after. That's 100. Nice and comfortable, quiet, very low recoil. I barely feel it. So let's see what it does out at full 270.
What do you have here?
Everything.
Everything you said?
Almost. We would have had the 240, but there's nowhere to stick.
I think I just ran 270.
It's actually in there. So, got 308, 22, 45, 300 black, and 5.56. So, whatever you guys want to try out.
Okay, hit, impact.
All
right.
Round finger engine?
Yeah,
One
whatever you
more.
want to shoot. We brought plenty of rounds for everyone's size.
Top on it?
Yeah.
Super, appreciate it.
Hit. Nice. 5 for 5. Unfortunately, I won't have first-hand footage of most of the guns that I do talk about for this series, as I do hope it will be a series. That just happened to be video I had on hand from a rifle expo a couple years ago, but it does do a pretty good job of showing what a rifle of this type would do. Now, as far as specifics, having a look around, I do believe that the 300 knockout is based on the Remington Model 700, or possibly the Remington Model 7, which is a shorter version of the 700 for short cartridges such as the 300 Blackout. In particular, a couple of years before the release of Battlefield Hardline, there had been pictures of a particular gun on Reddit and some gun blogs that had been seen at SHOT Show, which is the firearms industry expo that they do every year in Vegas. And I believe this exact gun is the one that was most likely used as inspiration for the 300 knockout. Now, this gun is a collaboration between Remington and Advanced Armament Corps, AAC. Remington did own Advanced Armament Corps, and they were the ones that held the design patent for the 300 Blackout. The full name is actually the 300 AAC Blackout. So this was a collaboration between Remington and AAC and what I believe to be Remington Defense as well. So we can see that it's a Remington Model 700, or maybe a Model 7 as I said, with a pretty short barrel, integrally suppressed. What this means is the suppressor is built around the barrel and actually uses some of the length of the barrel for suppression, which has the benefit of both keeping bullets below subsonic speed and also reducing the overall length of the gun. In fact, the barrel is almost entirely shrouded by the railed forend. And that's the next part I want to talk about. That is the furniture of this gun. The furniture typically refers to the attachments where you hold it, the stock, the rail mounting system, all that sort of thing. This looks to be the Remington RACS system. Now this stands for Remington Accessory Chassis System. And this is something that was being pushed and developed by Remington Defense, particularly for military and police customers. Now, as far as I know, there was never a production run of these guns in 300 Blackout, but the RACS system did get adopted in sniper rifle projects that Remington was working on elsewhere. And this most notably included the Remington Msr, the modular sniper system, the XM 2010, and the M40A6 sniper rifle in larger calibers. So these are receivers with longer actions ranging from 308 Winchester, 300 Winchester Magnum, and 338 Lapua Magnum to fit the needs of different military and police contracts. So in all, I'm not sure that I could say that the gun that represents the 300 knockout has ever been widespread produced or adopted in any form except that of an early production prototype that was shown off. And that's okay, that happens a little bit with video games, especially the ones that make an effort to stay on top of guns and newer guns. A lot of the stuff that goes into games is speculative. You can see this looking back to games that have guns like the H&K XM8, which we know never took off and never became a gun that was adopted by anybody in any large number. But a lot of games were including that because at the time they were doing their best to stay modern. Now, sadly, Remington has gone bankrupt, and they have parted out different parts of their company to new buyers who have different plans for the company and what and how they'll begin manufacturing the products. But in my mind, it's rather unlikely that we will see anything that was once the Remington Msr project or XM 2010 project be manufactured again. But that's not to say that more guns of this type will not be made, because suppressed bolt-action rifles with subsonic rounds have a lot of uses, and a lot of them are just plain civilian uses, like hunting and pest control. As far as the accuracy for the inclusion in the game, I would rate this gun as fairly accurate. As I said, the drop and the slowness of the bullet is exaggerated, but I understand why for gameplay purposes, because all Battlefield games that implement the physics system exaggerate how quickly it happens. The bullets move much slower than real life, and they drop more than real life at the ranges they're supposed to in the game, and that's just so that we can actually see the physics system take effect and be scaled down to the map size. The only thing I do question a little bit about the realism actually comes down to the power. So a Subsonic 300 Blackout cartridge fires a 200 to 220 grain bullet at no more than 1100 feet per second. You compare this to a 1911 or any other .45 automatic pistol, and it's firing a 200 to 230 grain bullet at usually no more than 1000 feet per second. So it is just barely edging out a 1911 handgun in terms of muzzle energy. And it does keep it better over a longer distance because of the aerodynamic profile of the bullet, but that's still not a ton of power to start off with, especially when you consider other guns that use much more powerful rounds, like 308 or 7.62 x 39, do much less damage in the game. And again, that's all for gameplay balance and fun. I understand this. I just like getting into and analyzing the details of the different guns and really breaking them down. So, that's all I have to say for now about the 300 Knockout and its real-world counterparts. I do hope you enjoyed this video and maybe learned something from it. If you did enjoy it, I'd love it if you left a like or a comment what you liked. If you didn't enjoy it, feel free to dislike it, but I'd love it too if you left me a comment and let me know what you didn't like so I can do better next time. If you want to see more of this type of content, I would really love any subscribers so that you guys can stay notified as I do this. Obviously, I plan to get to the different Battlefield games, and I have a similar running series for Fallout currently. So, lots of content to come. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to be notified of that. And in the meantime, it's been a pleasure as always. Thank you.